So I'm starting this a little bit early for everyone, just so that they have time to jump on and all that good stuff. And I'm also waiting for Sharita to kick on here so I can add her onto the video. So we're just gonna chill out here for a few minutes as we set ourselves up. This is kind of new for me because we're using my cell phone as opposed to my laptop because the laptop you can't, as far as I know, bring two people on together, whereas the cell phone you're able to. Hello, Amy. Are you all set for your big day coming up? Amy's pregnant, by the way. Hello, Vera. I'm glad that everyone's jumping on soon. I'm just waiting for Sharita to pop on so that I can bring her on and we can start going with the topic. So if you do have any comments, hello, Kathy. If you do have any comments, we are going to try to get to some of your questions, but even if you're leaving comments, I'm videotaping my cell phone. I'm watching on screen on on my laptop, so it's so I'm seeing both. And there's Sharita. So I'm gonna see if I can bring on Sharita. I can now. And let's see if it's gonna connect in here.
Hey.
Hi. So we have a couple more minutes before everyone starts jumping on still, and so we're just gonna hang out for a minute or two.
Absolutely.
I'm very, very happy that we are already having people coming on and saying hello and all that good stuff. And Sharita is from New York State, up in northern New York. And
a little bit. Not all the way up, but kind of in the mid section.
So she's on the same time frame as our same
East Coast time
zone.
Yeah.
And so that sort of thing. We're going to be having some West Coast people jumping on relatively soon. We have Vera says hello to Sharita.
Hello there. Good evening, everyone. How are you? Hope everyone's well, navigating as best they. A little turbulence in the universe right now, so even though everybody keeps asking me, I know we're going to be filling you in tonight all about the Mercury show this summer, but it almost feels like it's Mercury Retrograde right now, even though it's not.
I feel it. Oh my goodness, I woke up this
morning. We're going to talk about why, because there's another planet that just entered a sign and hasn't moved into another sign in like the last 7 years, so that's part of we'll be bringing Uranus into the conversation. So this summer kind of reminds me of, what was that movie called, Cloverdale or Cloverleaf? It was supposed to be this one camera shot, and it just jumped all around, and 20 minutes into it I just wanted to leave it. And that's what this summer is going to kind of have an effect on some people. It's kind of get off this merry-go-round, I want to stop. Well, I shared earlier today kind of like a joke, because, I'm still a child at heart, and I follow Sesame Street and the Muppets, and so there was this fun post of Oscar, and he's like, I'm just going to stay in my trash can today, So I'm like,
I saw that.
I hope this isn't going to be how you're going to feel this summer, because it's possible that is the case. I'm looking for you on your page, because I'm on my computer, just so that I can,
Hello, Barbara. I saw you come in.
Hi, Barbara.
Barbara's is our West Coast.
That's connection. Our Barbara from California.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, now I see everything. Fantastic. Here we are.
All right. So are you all set to go?
Me?
Yeah.
I think so. I'm just gonna get a
couple of things up here on my browser so that I can just, as we keep chatting, we'll talk about links and this, that,
Sure.
and we got a lot going on.
We do. We do now. We will, coming up in July and August. So
it is, you know, it's
hello, Bruce.
absolutely. Hey, Bruce. Good evening.
Good evening. Bonsoir. Bonsoir for
Bonsoir. Yeah, we could say that. You know, you speak French, so you know, and I'm trying.
Hi, Julie.
Julie, hi, Julie. How are you, Randy?
And
Hello.
Randy. Good. We're in sync. The videos are in sync.
Yes,
so,
this is good.
All right, so let's get started here. We don't want to keep you all night, and we have a lot to cover. So I'm going to jump into welcome, everyone. I'm Louis Mabee, obviously, and with me tonight is Sharita Starr. And Sharita is an astrologer, numerologist, and lexigrammist. You can visit her at her website, sharitastar.com, and of course me, louismabee.com. So tonight's topic is all about Mercury Retrograde and this summer, because this summer, not only is Mercury in retrograde going to affect us, and we're going to get a little bit what exactly is Mercury in retrograde, but as well as we're also going to have a Mars retrograde in the same time frame as Mercury. So, and on top of that, we also are going to have 3 different times of eclipses, or kinds of eclipses, plus new moons, full moons, and everything else like that going on, like happens every month. So let's start off with what exactly is retrograde, and I'm going to take it over to Sharita. Oh, actually, no. You know, before we do that with retrograde,
Wait.
Sharita, I want being a numerologist, and 2018 comes out to be a 2-year.
Yes. And number energy, actually.
So what is the theme of this year for the general of 2018?
Well, I had, looked at this, towards the end of last year, as I always do, giving everyone the heads up for what can you expect. And I know many people thought 2017 was the emotional year, but technically we hadn't seen anything yet. So this is the year where, it's the simple addition of how are we saying it's a 2-year, 2018, it's just you take the 2, the 0, the 1, and the 8, it equals an 11. And then we just reduce that down to a 2. So when we're looking at that from a numerical perspective, we're looking at a lunar guidance, which of course, the moon, and in astrology, or numerology, the moon is associated with the feelings, emotions, coming into balance, but especially because it's an 11 vibrating year, like, let's say it was, 19 something, we get a higher vibration of a 2, but this year it just adds up to a simplicity of an 11, but the 11 is a master number. So there's this sense of, you get 1 and 1, right? So there's this division going on. But what wants to happen is this. The 1 and the 1 have to come like this and be happy. But we're feeling a lot of this magnet thing, how magnets can do great things, like they can either come together super good and stick, or they have that, I'm going to resist myself. We're going to resist ourselves. So the energy of this year, and when you're looking at the moon, or a 2 energy, or your moon sign in your chart, you're looking at how are you nurturing something, how are you going to come together in cooperation, how are you going to nourish it, and you're going to get into a reflection. Because the moon is about reflection, because what do? We see a moon typically at night. It comes out, and of course we have a full moon. We only see that full moon at night. The only time we can't see the moon is when it's aligned with the sun, and that's a new moon once a month. So it's a very, very reflective year overall. So there's a very strong, sensitive force going on. And of course this also brings us to the understanding of a feminine energy, because the moon is feminine. It is not masculine. At all.
There's no coincidences really around Me Too movements or anything to do with with putting the masculine into check
Yes.
and allowing the feminine to flow.
Yes, and again in that like 11, that we're still looking at that higher energy of the 11. It's like the male and the female, and that's what happens. They come together in union, and then of course the next number is 3, and typically that might be children or whatever. But if you're thinking of it in a continuity of looking at things, everything circulates 1 to 9 in numerology. When you're looking at how any compound numbers are going to reduce back down, we only have 1 to 9 single digits. Of course, there is a 0, but that isn't like how the numerology works once you keep counting. You know? Astrology does use the number 0 actually in its mathematics, but that's a whole other topic. But so getting back to to this year, I coined it the theme. I always like coin mantras and themes for everything, which I have for this summer as well, called the Summer of Surrender. And but the year overall, highly sensitive, highly reflective, and highly engaged in getting in touch with what femininity is. What's the feminine? The divine feminine. I know a lot of other psychics, healers, people who work with Reiki, they all are getting this download, this channel from spirit. Now, I don't do that like you guys do, but the planets are telling me that all the same. So everybody's seeing the picture the same way, that it's a very, very sensitive year that we're dealing with. So there's a need for more compassion on our planet. There's a need for more understanding, because the only way that the 1 and the 1 are going to come together in union is if they stop resisting each other and stop stopping the fight. And anybody who's out of balance or out of alignment in their life, this is the year to get that stuff together and heal. It's a really strong healing year.
That's right, and that's actually going to come up later on in the broadcast when it comes to what to do to help better yourself and better prepare yourself for the time of Mercury retrograde.
Yes.
So, what exactly, Sharita, is retrograde? What is that illusion? Part of.
I like your wording. I like your phrasing of the of illusion, because that's exactly kind of what it is. Believe it or not. Retrograde, of course, is derived from the Greek. It means to go backwards. So all the planets in astrology, minus the moon, although it does something like it called moon void, of course, every couple days, and the sun, everybody else, Mercury on out to Pluto, all retrograde at different times throughout the year. Mercury does it the most frequently. So what happens from the astronomical perspective, which is where the illusion comes in, is that the planet, isn't actually going backwards at all. It sort of stations, and it just doesn't move forward. So in astrology, when we're looking at the math of what makes the 360-degree wheel compose itself, and all the 12 zodiac signs hold their places, and then the planets are always orbiting and transiting around, we always